Finding replacement parts for your project car can be nearly impossible. So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways you can reverse engineer car parts that you can 3D print. And for this first part, we're going to use digital calipers to draw our measurements out, which will make the next step much easier.
Now we're going to take our measurements and make a 3D model out of them, and that's where most builders get stuck. And that's because CAD or computer-aided design isn't always the simplest to pick up.
But that's where Shapr3d comes in. We're going to be using an iPad and an Apple Pencil, which will make reverse engineering our first part from paper much easier. Now to get started, we can click the top of the orientation cube to view the top plane. Now we can click the sketch on the left-hand side, then hit rectangle tool to draw a rough sketch of our relay cover. But before we continue, we can click on the unit settings to change the grid measurements from inches to millimeters, which matches the units of measurements we took with the digital calipers. Now we can start to adjust our width by selecting the existing measurement and typing in the correct value. Clicking on the next set of measurements will also allow us to type in the proper length of our relay box. Now we have our simple shape, and all we have to do is hit exit sketch mode on the left-hand side, select the rectangle and drag it up. This automatically performs the extrude function and lets us type in the exact height.
And that's what I like about Shapr3d, because you can go in, sketch a couple of parts, and then start to extrude that part and come up with a pretty simple design without getting lost in a bunch of bloated CAD features. I also have an entire workshop that breaks down the full process along with tons of other car part examples, and I'll leave that link in the video description below. So let's dive in and finish the rest of this part.
To hollow out the shape of our relay cover, just hit more on the left-hand menu and select the shell icon. Dragging towards the inside hollows out the part, and now we have a proper cover. To create the outer lip, I'm going to tap on the top of the cover and click on the top orientation cube to show the top plane. Now I'm going to select Tools on the left-hand side and select Offset Edge. Clicking the outer wall lets me create the outer lip with the correct width. And after hitting done, I can select the shape and extrude it by dragging up, and I can also enter the correct height. I'm also going to drag it down a bit, that way the outer lip has contact with the relay cover. And taking a look at the actual relay cover and what we sketched so far, the design is coming up pretty close. But now we have to actually create the clips. And to do that, all we have to do is click on the left-hand view and the left orientation cube, and this will allow us to start sketching on the left-hand side. I'm going to start by drawing the width from the center, and I can divide the entire length of the clip by 2 and get the halfway point. That'll allow me to draw my next line and type in the same measurement. Now from there, I'm going to create a few more lines based on my measurements to finish off the entire base of the clip. Now all that's left is create the measurements for the punch out that the clip needs to have at the center. But before I extrude the clip's shape, I'm going to go to More and select Move. And this will allow me to select the copy feature and move that shape over to the other side. This will allow me then to put the clip in position and now extrude the part. But there's a gap at the bottom, so I can select the back face and extrude it towards the cover. Now I can go back to the original sketch of the clip that we copied, select all its faces, and extrude it to the same width. I also extruded the back face just like I did on the other clip. Now all that's left is to punch the center out, and if you ever have a sketch in your way, you can open up the items tray and toggle the view on or off for different items. Once we have the center selected, we can extrude all the way through the other side of the other clip. Our relay cover is getting pretty close to the original, but now we need to add these rounded corners. And we can do that by selecting all the outer corners and pulling them out, which creates a fillet. We can do the same by selecting the inside corners and pulling out again. And I'm going to enter the same radius used on the outside corners. Now to reduce the number of supports when we 3D print this part, I'm going to select the edge below this overhang, but this time I'm going to push in. And this will create a chamfered edge. And I'm also going to select the corners around the clip and add a fillet to match the same radius. I'm going to also select the edge around the side of the clip and push in again to create the same chamfer, or you can type in a value. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now all these top corners are a little sharp, so I'm going to select them as well and add another chamfered edge around all the top of the clips.
So all that's left is to export this design as an STL, which is the file that we can import into our 3D printing software. And here's the finished part. Take a look at that. The clips came out perfect, and they're a little bit thicker than the original, so I think it's going to hold up a little bit better. And you can see they're pretty strong. Compare that to the original. Here's the original. I could probably give a little bit more of a fillet around the corners here just to give it a little bit more of a rounded finish. But other than that, I think this part came out perfect.
Now for our next part, it does have quite a few more curves. So we're going to throw it on this grid and line it up and take a picture of the part. This is going to allow us to use that picture and import it into Shapr3d in order to create the fillet to match the actual part. But before we can copy the fillet, I'm going to sketch a rectangle to the actual dimensions. This way we can match the imported image to the actual size of the part. Now I'm going to grab a few measurements of the part. That way I can extrude the sketch to the proper height. Next up, I'm going to select all the outside corners, and now I can use the imported image as a reference to create the proper fillet to the right radius. And to get the image out of the way, we can go back to the items tray and select to hide the image. Now I'm going to grab some additional measurements from inside the part and select the outer edge, select more and offset edge to pull that in to create the same inner dimension on the inside of the part. Now I can select done, select the sketch, extrude up in order to match the lip of the outer edge. Then I'm going to select the outside edge and use the offset edge tool again to create the inner portion of the handle cover. But I'm going to make it slightly larger than the bottom offset, and you can do that by adding or subtracting values. In our case, the value should actually be another negative value to make the offset slightly thicker to provide a wall for the extrusion. But before I do any more extrusions, I'm going to grab some more measurements and sketch out all the different shapes on top of the part. Now we can start to extrude our sketches, and you can do that by selecting the face and pushing downward. For the next extrude, I want to push only the part of the door handle cover upward, so I'm going to sketch another line on the bottom face. This will allow me to select half the bottom portion and extrude up. Then I can come back to the top of the part and select the top sketch and extrude down to create the proper depth. At the top of the part, I want to create another wall, so I'm sketching another line, and now I can select part of the body on the opposite side and push that down. Then I can go back to the wall that's left, select the top faces, and extrude to match the right side. And before I forget, I can select this top circle and extrude it down through the bottom. For the inner shape, I'm going to select the inner corners and give it a fillet, and I'm also going to zoom in, select the circle, and push it in to give a chamfer for the screw head. I also want to give the outer walls a slight angle, so I'm going to select the wall and also the top edge. This will allow you to tilt the wall with an angle, and I'm going to select the remaining walls and edges to give the rest of the walls a 5-degree tilt inward. I'm also going to select the bottom edge and give it a fillet. I can do the same to the inner shape too, but for the door handle to fit through the cover, I'll need to sketch another shape at the top of this notch that I can extrude down. The extrude took part of the wall with it, but I can just select that part and extrude it back into place. Now all that's left is to create a few more fillets inside our part, and I also want to match the upper fillet on the top face. So I'll select the edges again and pull them out. This time I'm going to hop on my laptop and pull up the same design, which Shapr3d syncs to the cloud. That way I can export the part as an STL and drag it right into my 3D printing slicing software. I want to give the part a slightly different finish from the last part, but first I'm going to change the color to black ASA filament. Now I'm going to search for a feature called fuzzy skin and set the feature to contour, along with the fuzzy skin point distance set to 0.4 and the thickness set to 0.2. Now all we have to do is slice our part and hit print.
All right, so this next part I think came out better than the first part that we did. Take a look at that. The finish just came out amazing with the fuzzy skin setting, and you can also print these in different colors. I just decided to go black because the interior of the car that's going to be worked on, that's going to have this part, is going to go with a black leather interior. Now our next part also has some curves, but it has this insert that goes down and changes shape at the bottom. So trying to take a picture of this part or multiple pictures along with manual measurement of this part would be pretty difficult. And that's where this next step comes in.
We're going to be using a blue light laser 3D scanner with tracking dots to scan the part, which we'll be able to convert into a model we can use in Shapr3d. Once the scan is finished, we can convert the cloud points into a proper mesh. I'm also going to use the smooth function, then select the part. Now I can inverse the selection and delete all the unwanted scanned items. From there, I can export the part as an STL, which we can now import into Shapr3d. We just have to select the STL, and we're going to leave the measurement units set to millimeters. Before we get started, we need to be able to see through our scan. So to do that, you can select visualization, and on the right-hand side, we can adjust the opacity. Now we can go back to the model and align the part. But before we start to reverse engineer this part, I'll need to create some reference lines. I'll start with the horizontal line, then vertical lines, and I'm going to turn them into construction lines. Now I'm going to copy the first insert starting on the right side. Since there's a curve, I'm going to use the spline tool and click at the midpoint and continue to drag the spline to the center construction line. Now I can select the midpoint and drag it to match our curve. Next up, I'm going to select the line and spline and select the mirror tool. Clicking on the center construction line mirrors or creates a copy on the opposite side. Now we can copy the circles starting from the construction line at the top, and I'm going to select trim on the left-hand side to remove all the parts that we don't need. All that's left to finish the outside shape are a few more lines and another spline. Then I'm going to use the mirror tool to finish out the other side. But I still need to finish the sketch on the top, so I'm going to copy the 3D scan with some more lines, a few more splines, and 2 circles using the move and copy feature. And to get the shape of the bottom portion, I'm going to copy one of the inner sketches to the bottom and select move, which will allow me to change the angle of the sketch to match the 3D scan. Then I'm going to take the larger sketch of the insert and copy it down, which is going to help us build out the shape in the next step. But before I can create the shape, I'm going to open up the items tray and hide the scan. Now I'm going to select tools and loft. Then I can select the bottom and the middle of the sketch, and now we have a body that can be extruded up to the proper height. But it still needs some work. So I'm going to select the body and click on isolate, which will help us focus on just this part. It needs to be hollow, so I'm going to use the shell tool again and give it a thickness of around 1 millimeter. So we're getting pretty close to the original shape. Now I'm going to turn off isolation and unhide the 3D scan to build out the top of the part. To do that, I'm going to select the top sketches and extrude down to match the lip of the 3D scan. I'm also going to extrude the main circle, and I also created another circle I could extrude to close out the bottom portion of the part. All that's left for the top is to extrude the top ring along with punching the other shapes through the bottom portion. But I also wanted to stiffen the part between the top and bottom. So I'm going to sketch another shape that I can extrude upward to make the part stronger when it's 3D printed. And to copy these top curves, I'm going to sketch a circle, use the trim tool along with the mirror tool. Extruding the sketch worked pretty well, but now I need to sketch a few more lines to be able to extrude the rest of the part. All that's left is a few finishing touches, and before we add fillets, I'm going to select all the bodies and use the union tool to make everything into one solid body. Now all the fillets can be added to match the original design. But I noticed that I accidentally extruded one of the shapes incorrectly. Now to fix something like this, you can open up the history tool on the right hand side and change something you did previously. In this case, I want to reverse the extrude just to one of the sketches. So to do this, you can select Edit under Profile and remove one of the faces. Now the extrude is gone and I can modify the sketch to properly be able to extrude the face in the opposite direction. So this part looks pretty good. So now we're going to export it like we did the last parts and send it off to the 3D printer.
And here is the part. Take a look at that. It looks amazing, especially with the fuzzy skin. And if we compare that with the original, with the 3D scan, we nearly got an exact match. And you can learn how to make these exact parts with the workshop. I'll even throw in all the Shapr3d CAD files so that you can modify them. And I'll leave all of that info in the video description below.